I'm Shauna from Infinity Readings. This is going to be the reading for the Libra male in a coupled relationship. Hey guys, I wanted to take a minute here just to kind of acknowledge what I've done for this winter season. I managed to change up a few things. I vamped the logo a little bit. I actually got Aaron at Active Dynamics here. He has managed to make my intro for me, so I'm very thankful for that. He did a great job. I couldn't have done it. So thanks, Aaron, for that. I appreciate it immensely. And also to Ikson for my theme music. Is beautiful, upbeat, happy tunes. I can't get enough. I am now going to his page because it's just that great. It's all good gravy stuff. So I couldn't have revamped my winter season without these dudes around me. So I'm lucky enough to have them in my corner. So thanks, guys. Ikson, great work. Aaron, thanks again. Great work. So take care, guys. Enjoy your season. And Ikson, if you ever want a reading, just hit me up, man. Just email me. I will kick in and we'll set something up. In the meantime, take care. Have fun, you guys, and enjoy the reading. I'm going to go over the general energies, and then we'll get into everything here. But I first want to let you know, if you're looking for more readings during the year, I do all my work in Facebook. So go under Infinity Readings and Reviews and join in there, and that's the kind of the community that gets a little more than just the seasonals. Okay, I do weekly stuff in there and daily masculine, feminine reports, so it's all happening in there. So feel free to join in there. It is free to join. Like, people have asked me if you have to pay. You do not have to pay. It's a private group, so you have to just click to get in. But yeah, that's where I do most of my work. I go in weekly and I update everybody, and hopefully we're going to get everybody through their bumps in the relationships here. That's the theme of the year, is relationships. So let's get into it. The first card I get for the general energies for the Libra, again, male in a couple. The first card we get is obstacles. So this Libra male may be feeling like there are some obstacles here he's got to get through, and I'm feeling this is in the general partnership area. So that is highly activated in his zone here. Now to the left we have organization, right? So I feel like it is par for the course for this Libra male to be in an organizational mode. He likes things organized. I feel that's what's wrong here. There's stuff is all awry and it's causing obstacles. So I feel like he's feeling the fix is going to be in the organization. Organizing. We got to organize some stuff, then everything will go right. And then the next card that I get is balance, and that's that whole idea here. I feel like the Libra is really taking charge and taking control here to balance everything out. Sorry if you got if you hear banging or whatever. I think people are working on the apartment upstairs, but anyway. So yeah, a lot of balancing, organization, and obstacles. So we'll see where that actually sits here. I'll dip into the reading. Like I said, I have like 5 decks here that I play from. So 2 of them are the regular tarot interpretations. Then we have the Lenormand, and then we work into the love and romance side, okay? So the first card I get overall is the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles, man, he's sturdy, stable. He's got all his ducks in a row, and they're listening to what he has to say. So the King of Pentacles really has everything. He's sitting on top of the world here, but he may not be dipping into the emotional sides too much. Okay, that's the sense I'm getting. The only thing he's lacking is a little bit of emotion. He's very smart and astute, but nonetheless. Now, Libra is air and this is earth, so he's out of his element, but he's feeling very comfortable in it. That's the sense I'm getting. We're a little out of our element, but it may also be a mature thing, right? Because the king is a mature male. So I feel like as I've grown into more of an earthy way of dealing with things. So that may help you as we go along here. I feel like that's a good thing. The next card we get is the Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords is about heartbreak. It's about disappointment. It's about being let down. These are all things that are running through here. This man has a lot to come from, but in the emotional center, there's disappointment here. The next card after that is the Seven of Cups. So there may be disappointment, but we're confused as to how to maybe attack it, right? Because we got these obstacles here, and whenever you have an obstacle, if you've seen a clear path, you'd fix it. So I feel like the Seven of Cups is about the confusion as to how to get rid of this feeling that we're feeling, right? We're feeling all that sadness and disappointment, but we don't know quite how to fix it. And that's the Seven of Cups. So we're dipping into our mind here a little bit, being that air sign, and we're thinking about how to do that, but I don't feel that we're coming up with any answers, though. The next card we get is the Ace of Swords. So we're going in our mind to run things through to get clarity, and I feel like that's what's coming about, okay? And I feel like this takes a bit of time. So we're talking about the winter season here, so it may take the better part of that to get that clarity, but we'll move on. The next row here is the Dreamer's Tarot, and the first card is the Tower. So this is really obviously connected to the Three of Swords, right? The disappointment. Something happened here that was drastic, and it made us realize some stuff, but it also disappointed us, and we need to take account of that. Now the Two of Pentacles comes up right beside, and that's basically saying there was a need here to balance things out, and we waited too long to do it. And this is the thought process that is brought about, right? So this Libra male is really in a position where he kind of let things go a little too long, and the universe decided to step in and cause some havoc, or at least situations did give you the opportunity to do such. So now you got the Two of Pentacles here, and it's like, yeah, we're going to balance things out. And I feel like that was the problem all along. There was no balance here. Libra. So within the relationship, you know, give and take, that's what I'm sensing. There was something out of whack. Somebody was giving too much, and that's okay. The other person was just taking, and I don't know which is which here, whether it's you or your partner, okay? But it had gone on too long, and now we're going to deal with it, right? So after the Two of Pentacles, after thinking about the balancing, we get the Knight of Wands. And in this Dreamer's deck, man, this guy is off his horse. I mean, Wands is a fiery energy. Here it almost looks like he's holding a sword, but it's Wands, right? That's that fiery, passionate energy, and he goes out and he does things spontaneously and just can create havoc, but he doesn't quite have all of his ducks in a row, right? So we started with the King of Pentacles energy, and that bleeds through the whole reading, but we may have had a mishap here where we were kind of doing things that our head wasn't in the game at all. We were kind of spastic. I'm getting the word spastic, like all over the place, just doing what we feel in the moment and not really giving it a lot of thought, which is not like a Libra male, right? But nonetheless, that's what's going on here, that energy. It kind of doesn't match up with the energy I'm getting for you, but nonetheless, we'll see where it fits here. Now, he's there under the Seven of Cups, okay? So this makes sense to me if you may have had a moment of unclarity, okay? You had a moment of, maybe I'll try something like this, right? Maybe I'll try something and do something that's out of my element, but nonetheless, really not feeling solid and sturdy in it, but very spontaneous, okay? And as we move under the Ace of Swords, which talks about the truth, we get the Moon, which is total confusion, because The Ace of Swords is talking about truth, clarity, and victory and all things good, right? And beginnings of this. And the Moon is really, it's really highlighting the opposite. It's saying we will not get clarity at this moment. And there are things here that are unclear and mysterious, and there may even be some secrets. Okay? Not really outlining the route here, but nonetheless the path. Okay? As we move on, we'll go to the Lenormand cards in the next row and see what comes out there. Now, the first card you get from the Lenormand is the 43. So there's not only confusion, but there's outright a point here where I feel like you might even be frustrated. But not realizing. You're not realizing there's a lot of confusion here. 43 is the Maze card. Okay? So we are confused. There's things going on here as to why it happened. So when the Tower come down here, I got a sense that you were kind of holding off on something you knew you needed to change, but yet there's confusion under there. So maybe you're confused as to why you needed to change. Not, you know, just that you needed to change, but why? Because there's a sense here that you have an instinct that, yeah, this should have, but maybe it was so light that we just don't understand, or maybe we just don't understand the collapse here that happened. You know, the Tower, when it comes out, you know, I'm getting a sense somebody kind of flipped out on someone else, you know, and there may be confusion from, and obviously it sounds like the Libra male is confused as to why the partner may have flipped out, because this is the essence I'm getting, is someone put their foot down or got worked up about something and blew a fuse, and we're not too sure why that happened. Doesn't make sense to us. We're not putting two and two together, right? So there's some obstacles here we're not seeing straight, and that's usually why the Tower comes in, is to help you see straight, clear things up. We're going to clear things, make it easier for you in a hard way, right? So the confusion is prominent. Okay, so under the Two of Pentacles, which is the balancing out, we get the 2 on the Lenormand, which is the 4-leaf clover. And that's about luck and opportunity and good things coming. So, and this Libra guy, you can get very negative very quickly. You can also get happy very quickly, but sometimes that negativity can drag you down in your thoughts, right? We just keep looping the bad role. So I feel like this is kind of the opposite of that. I feel like the number 2 here under the balancing, I feel like you may be catching the positive vibe here and really rolling it around in your head. So even though you're confused, you're tending to keep a positive attitude, okay? That's what I'm getting so far. Now, under the Knight of Wands and all the confusion on that row, we get the 28, and that's the man, the focused man. So he's got his eyes set on something, and I feel like maybe that's because we're next to the luck here. So there's something good going on, though we're still somewhat confused, okay? So I'm going to move to the next card. Under the Moon, we have 36, which is the cross, and the cross is about burdens that we bear, right? So that'd be like the burden card of the tarot. And he's looking at his burdens. But I feel like he's trying to figure them out. Okay, I got these burdens. How do I lift it? How do I get these cleared off? I got to figure out how not to feel so heavy anymore. And that's really what it is. I feel like he's in or out of the relationship. I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on that's confusing this guy. And man, he's going to try and unburden himself, and that's really his focus over the winter. I'm going to figure out what it is that's holding me down, and I'm going to lift it, okay? So now as we move into the romance area, the first card I get is the Romantic Tarot Joker card. Now, what I assign that to mean is I threw that in there because the universe would throw me an odd card, and I just felt like it just didn't fit. So I'd take it out, and they said, well, they said, I've heard from other people, they'll say, well, just put the dud card in there and then assign it to mean that's the point where we can't tell you. You know, that's the none of your business card because it's detrimental to this person's path that they do not know this, or they could sabotage it, or someone else can, you know, whatever. So we just need to have some things that are still unknown so that this person goes forward naturally. So that is what's going on in the love side. Okay, so there's something going on here in the love sector that is a little bit mysterious, and it's supposed to stay that way until you actually need to deal with that issue. Now, under the luck card, we have 13, which I don't, those are contradictions in that line, but no, no less. Okay, the 13. And I do feel this is sadness, depression. We got to think of the transition here. So we may have had an end here to something in the relationship, or the relationship itself is coming to an end. And that may be the burden card. You may be realizing through this relationship that this has got to go, because I'm not, can't be myself. I can't do what I want to do and be with this person. It's just not working. Feeling very heavy energy here of that. So 13 would signify all of that weight emotionally, the heaviness of sorrow and depression and sadness and grief and all of that wrapped up in there. And I hope that you're not dealing with an actual death in itself. So that energy of change, right? What happens after that? Now, the next card is the King of Swords. So that is your element. And that is very much under the focused male here. And it is really making me think that whatever it is, like if you're in a mode here where you are splitting a relationship, you're hell bent, you're going to make it happen one way or another. Yeah, that's really the sense I get. It's heavy. This man is, you know, the tip of his sword is broken. So he's been through a lot and he's had enough. And he is no longer able to really bring up that positive side, though there is peaking here in the options and the confusion. There's something here that's good and great, and it may just be that the universe is saying, you know what, we can give you goodness. We just have to get on that train, you know. So yeah, just that heavy energy. So I'm not going to expand. I'm going to carry on to the next card. Under the burden, we get the Six of Cups. So Six of Cups is always about socializing, right? Maybe overdoing it a bit, maybe getting into the drink. We may be dealing with a collapse of a relationship here that we know it's got to go. So we're going out and partying with the buddies and trying to kind of, I don't feel he's trying to avoid it, but he's just really trying to let off some steam in a way that he feels is constructive, right? So the 36 is, that has become burdensome in itself, is to go out and I feel almost like he's starting to separate his life from his partner, because I feel very soft, very how do I say? I don't want to say low energy, but low energy from the partner. So either they're very passive or they're just not in character. They're not feeling powerful. They're very weak-willed, that kind of thing. There's something going on with the partner here. Hopefully they're not sick, because when we have the crosses to bear and the death, that doesn't sit well with me. But I'm not going to expand on that. If you're dealing with that, you're dealing with that, and that's too bad. But there's a lot of heavy energy here. There's a bit of secrets coming down, and I think this man is on the road to straighten things out. He just hasn't put his foot down yet. Okay, like these cards, these overall cards here, I'll go over them again, but the obstacles, organization, and balance, I feel like he's just starting to get ready to get organized to do that, to either end the relationship or do something about it, be proactive in it. So it's kind of at the point, the scenario I'm getting is like, you're frustrated, you're not getting any answers from the partner. In fact, you may even be getting a brick wall. So you go out and party with the buddies and you're kind of trying to let off some steam. And in the meantime, you're trying to let all these thoughts come in and Where should I go from here? What do I do? What are my options? And this is kind of the green clover, what I feel, because we realized we need to go, and there was something obviously that precipitated, you know, it wasn't great and gravy all along here, but we weren't doing anything about it. So then something happened, and now we're more in a mode, more motivated to get things done, and done being the operative word here. So we end on the Six of Cups in the romance area, and that's kind of like socializing and going out with your social circle. And I do not feel, I feel it's without the girlfriend or the wife or the partner. I feel like it's without the person in your life. You're trying to get away from that, but you don't know how to go about it, and you don't know what you're going to do when you're on the other side of that. So as we get into the sex side, which is interesting, on the romantic tarot, so that's the kind of like we cannot go there. There's a certain area in the romance sector that there's things that are need to be left as is. And on top of that, we have the sun, which is interesting. And I'm going to go back to my original meaning, because the sun in the sex is about orgasms, and I'm sorry if I'm offending here, but the act itself and the burst of energy, and that's what they're making me think of here. So I don't know what's going on, because it seems like there's, you know, like when you get an energy like I'm getting, where this, you know, this guy is going through rough times and bumpy roads in the relationship. Maybe there's still a sexual line here that's really good, that's pleasing. Okay, the next card, we get the Queen of Swords. So this is interesting. Again, we switch gears. Okay, I think I know where this is going. And the Queen of Swords, I feel like, is your partner. And this Queen of Swords, she has got a lot of stabs in her heart, to the point where she has closed it down and she's ripped it out and put it on the table. It is not even in her energy field, you know. The Queen of Swords can be quite cold, and she's been through hell, and that is why. Okay, so she's really here. She's really turned off. Now, in the mirror, they're showing me the man in the mirror. We need to look at that. Yeah, it's almost like there's a stalemate going on here. Okay, so this is interesting that we're getting satisfied, but there's a stalemate. So we gotta look into that. Now, the Queen of Swords, she's looking at the male, and she's just sitting there kind of like stoic. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next card. On the King of Swords, we have the Ten of Wands. Now, the Ten of Wands, again, this is really back and forth. And it may be that you have in the bedroom a back and forth situation going on. Where overall we're not doing good here is the feel I get. Okay, that's the energy coming. If it doesn't apply, it doesn't apply. But if it does, this is the energy I'm getting. Now, I guess if it's you, it'll make more sense. But the Ten of Wands is usually about being so overwhelmingly attracted to someone that you got to go hop in the bush because you can't wait till you get home, that kind of thing. That's what I assigned to this card. So that's the Ten of Wands. But yet our partner is sitting stoic. Okay, so the last card we end up on is the Four of Pentacles, which brings us back to this man attempting to impress this woman, and the woman being a little bit passive here. It's not happening. So what is going on? So we may have, like I said, this is the only way I can rationalize this, is we have a situation here. Now, the sun, you can have orgasms and not be with your partner, so you can figure that one out. Now, that may be what's going on here, but on top of it, there's some action going on here, because the Ten of Wands is also a completion card. Okay, so are we completely done? on the sex side and getting it somewhere else. Like, I don't want to insinuate that because it doesn't really feel like that fits here. But at the same time, there it's happening. So either you and your partner are going through like phases of dry spells, and then all of a sudden you get in and you have it and it's good, but we're really not fixing the depth of the relationship here. We're just having good sex because it's good. And then because things aren't getting fixed, then we go back to not having it for a while, and then he tries again. I feel like that's kind of more the scenario that fits here for this Libra male in a couple. He's really, and of course, when you can't get it, things happen, right? So that, I feel like that's what's going on, is there's a want to go to the partner, but not necessarily a reception there. And when there is, they get it, and then not, right? So they end on the Four of Pentacles, which is kind of feigning interest in the whole deal. There's not a lot of interest here in the sexual side, but for the Libra male there is. But for the partner, they will engage just to kind of maybe, because at certain points, after a while, you kind of end up wanting it as well. And then you engage, and then you're like, yeah, okay, I'm good now. I don't need it. And because the relationship is not at peak performance, it's kind of choppy, there's a lot of obstacles here, and then you may get over an obstacle and have like a little bit of a celebration, and then you jump into the physical side, and then you jump out, you have another problem, this kind of thing. This is really the energy that I don't think anybody's fooling around anybody. If anything, we're just going by ourselves and get things done because we can't handle it, right? Yeah, so the Libra male in a couples relationships really going through some stuff here on the physical end. So that is everything horizontally. So we're going to go vertically and figure out if we can dissect things here and get to the root ball, because I think the Libra male's really figured it out. I think he's just coming to terms with the fact that he has to take action at this point. He's on, he's teetering from the fact that now something happened to him, made him realize this is it. I gotta cut bait here, and and then moving forward, now he's kind of trying to figure out how to do that. So again, we start with the King of Pentacles energy, and that's that sturdy foundation that you have to come from. Again, the emotions I feel are very lacking here. We've lost our sense of emotional compatibility with our partner and our partner with us. So that's mutual. It's not conducive to any learning, and I feel like to a certain degree, neither one of these people are dedicated to fix it. Okay, so the Tower comes on that energy, basically stating that there's a situation that come down on this man and his stability that is going to make him wake up and see what's going on here. We need to change. Can't continue the rest of our lives like this. Okay, neither one of us are happy, and we need to bust and go in different directions. Maybe we'll get happier, right? If we can't contribute to the relationship in a good way, we have to break and find another source. Okay, this is really what I'm getting. So on top of the Tower is 43, the maze, which is the confusion this man is feeling. This came down on him, and he's confused as to what he needs to do. There's too much rolling around, too much stuff, and I feel like, a lot of that is on the burdens as well. But there's confusion, and then the romance card comes out to rear its head and say, well, there's certain things in the romance area we need to keep a secret because he needs to be open and fresh and organic when this situation comes about. And then on top of that, we have the Sun card, which really kind of bodes that there is hope here. And it may not be in this relationship. It may be in a different direction. Whatever it is that you feel you need to do, there is hope here that we can get what we want, okay? Now in the next row, we have the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords is that heartbreak, the emotional, yeah, all of that. The heaviness. the stabs in the heart that we are having a hard time dealing with, okay? And then under that Three of Swords, we get the Two of Pentacles. And that's like, okay, we got to balance here because we're on the depressive side. We got to balance out and not be so depressed. And then the universe comes in with the Two, which is the Clover. And they say, you know, there are good things to grow on here. We just got to quit focusing on the negative. We got to start looking in directions that make us happy, and then we will flourish from there. Then on top of that, we have the 13 in the Romance, and that is basically saying we have an ending here or transition that we need to take. And that is why all of this stuff has happened, and this is what is going to get you into a better mode. And then on top of that, we have the Queen of Swords, and I feel like that is basically pointing in the direction of this woman that has been through a lot as well. We got the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords. So at one point here, I feel like these two were a good match. But something is gone down the road here where I think we've finished what we needed to do here is done. We can no longer be productive in this relationship. So we need to move forward. And even though I don't know that each person will be seeing it in that way, I think over time they will. They'll go, you know, this is the best thing we could have done. Da, 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 da. This is what I'm feeling, a big burden. And I feel like the partner is really lost in a fog, your partner. And they really don't understand what to do because they don't want to face anything. So you need to really kick in and listen to your instinct and go in that direction you need to go, because I think overall, in the end, down the road, when you are both happy, the other person will realize at that point, you know, that was the best thing we could have done, because I don't know how much longer I could have taken it in the direction we were going. Okay, this is really what they're laying out the path here. Now as we go into the third row, the Seven of Cups, and again, a lot of things going on in your head, right? That's the air sign coming out. We're really thinking about all the options and all of the, where can I go? What can I do? How do I deal with this? And there are things coming up, you know, good ideas that we can use and utilize, right? So we just don't know what one to put all our weight on. So Seven of Cups, that's the confusion. Knight of Wands. I feel like along the road here, either maybe it was that episode that the tower brought down, the collapse here, that created within you a Knight of Wands here that kind of doesn't know what the hell to do. He's off his mount, you know, he's not on his horse. He is kind of doing extreme things is what I'm getting. They're going extreme thing. So, but not really. I feel like he's not coming from a place of knowledge or wisdom here. I feel like he's just doing because he feels he's got to accommodate either the partner or the situation. He's trying to accommodate, but he's really not thinking things through. Okay, so that's kind of that moment where you're just doing stuff and you're like not thinking. You're just trying to accommodate, and it's not really productive. So that's that. And then on top of that, we have the 28, which is the focused man from the Lenormand deck. Now, this man, he's got his, he's kind of the opposite of the Knight of Wands from the, you know, the personality that I put to the Knight of Wands from the Dreamer's deck, because he really is deadlocked on something. And like I said, I feel like we got to straighten this out one way or another. And I feel like the Libra male is going to go off by himself and figure out how he's going to do it. Then he's going to approach his partner and say, okay, this is the plan I've got. Because I feel like the partner is kind of just checked out. I think they're just checked out. They're not going to do anything aggressive. They're being super passive. In fact, you know, not even engaged at all. So I feel like this is what he feels. Well, I got to take the reins here. I got to do something and make this happen, because something's got to happen. We can't continue like this. And then the next card on that we get from the Romance is the King of Swords. And that's that energy. And that Swords energy, man, he can get in there and he can be, usually, what's the word that I use to describe him? He bounds in and kind of creates havoc. You know, he stomps his feet and says, okay, this is what we're doing and this is how we're going to do it, and da 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 da. So I feel like he's going to take that part of his energy and do that. You know, to a degree here, it's not prime condition, right? The King of Swords is very much someone who takes thought and wisdom. Wisdom includes emotion. This man is kind of excluding it. He is making decisions based on his brain and what he thinks is a smart way, but we're leaving our emotions out of it. And that's really the sense I'm getting here. That's the whole tip of the sword broken off, is we're leaving our emotions out of it. We're going to go from logic here. And what I think is a logical thing to do with all this stuff going on is this. And this is what we're going to do. So this is the energy that the Libra male couple is coming from. Now, on top of that, we have the 10 of Wands. So there may be opportunities here and there where we kind of break our days that we're in this couple, and we get into intimacies on the sexual side and we connect, but it is not enough to bring back, you know, neither one is really working towards making that better. They're just engaging in it, and it's not an emotional experience. It's just a roll in the hay to scratch that itch, and it happens every once in a while, and and everything else stays the same, and everything else at the same level is not great. So it seems like, you know, through marriage you just kind of give in, and then you know, the dry spells, right? So that's kind of the sense I get with the 10 of Wands here. And then of course, it being a 10, we have to take that into account. We may even be coming close to the end of feeling like we want to engage anymore. You know, the sexual urge may be losing its fire. But again, you know, in the beginning here, we get the sun shining. So that does kind of lift things that we need to think about brighter days here. Okay, so anyway, the last row, we get the Ace of Swords, and that's the truth and clarity that needs to come through here. And I feel like that's something that's been avoided all along. I don't feel we're outright lying to our partner. I think we're each accommodating each other, and nobody's really happy. So on top of the Ace of Swords, we get the Moon card. And the Moon card is about illusions and things that are hidden and not revealed. And I feel like a lot of that may even be the future of this relationship, right? We really don't know. We haven't made any decisions. Nobody's really thinking ahead that far. But I think the Libra males can start dipping into that pretty soon here and start illuminating that, because that moon doesn't last very long. That eventually things get cleared up. And when we have the Ace of Swords hovering above there, we're going to clear this up. There's something. We may not be seeing clear here at the beginning of winter or fall, the end of fall into winter, October, November, December. But by January, February, March, we're going to be working our way into a different energy zone. We're going to make a plan, and we're going to incorporate it and move forward. So the moon, on top of the moon card, we get the cross 36. So that's about burdens and things that weigh us down, things that are burdensome, right? And that's really in the Lenormand here. The 28 is looking at the 36, and that's what he wants to lift. He wants to deal with that, get rid of it. That's what's dragging me down. I got to get rid of it. And whatever I need to do that, I'm going to do it, and I'll figure it out. And when I do, I'll go to the partner, and then I'm going to tell her what I have to, you know, what my solution is, and we'll decide from there where we go, right? So 36 is that burden he wants lifted. And then the 6 of Cups is basically saying we got to watch our drinks here, because we may be using it to escape. And we may also be using social circles in that way to escape our partner and not deal. But at the same time, I feel like you might actually get some production made through this. Not that I'm promoting that kind of, but the thing is that he's trying to blow off the steam so that he can clear his mind enough and think about different things. And that's what he's doing. He's getting out of that energy zone, putting himself in another energy zone. Let's stir it up here and trying to figure out where to go. It's confused, right? So, and then we end on the intimacy card of the Four of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles is about a man attending to a woman, but the woman is really disinterested. It's feigning interest. There's not enough fuel here to get her going. And I feel like that's the bottom line all over. There's a relationship here. I mean, I'll tell you, you're not the only one, but it's pretty heavy here. And we just, yeah, we're just realizing we got to make a decision. So we're going to get motoring to do that. And I feel like this is a really long, stretched out process over the winter. So it's going to be a rough patch over this time. It's going to be really heavy, quiet, and contemplative. But once you make up your mind, then you know, everything's going to fall into place, right? So, yeah, I was hoping these readings would be a little more sunshiny, but it seems like the summer, I was telling people through my page, you know, there's going to be a lot of bust ups, and this, you know, is maybe one of them. And the thing is it's there because we are not meant to feel so bad in a relationship. We are meant to feel happy and joyful. And if we cannot work to get that, we need to let things be. You know, we need to go in a direction that does make us happy. And it seems like this is what the decision is here that has to be made. So as I go over the overall energies again here, the first card we got for the general energies was the obstacles. And that's what I'm feeling like he's feeling in the beginning, like the fall here, this time of year, October, November. He's feeling there's so many obstacles here. I don't know where to go or how to attack it or nothing. And I don't feel like I can make headway. I think that's the problem. I feel he doesn't feel like he can make headway. He's not seeing the answers clearly. It's all obstacles to him. So that's the confusion, right? So that's the first card. So this is the rough patch, right? The next card is organization. So I feel like he's going to try and organize his thoughts, gather all these areas that he's thinking about happy things in. He's going to gather that up, organize that, and figure out how to make things work in whatever direction he decides, right? And then the last card we get is the balance. And that's the thing, is this man is really, he's the dude that goes in and he, like you get a bookshelf, whatever you're going to put together, he brings out the paper and he reads the directions. And he's going to go step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And he's going to line up all the tools and make sure that everything's there first before he starts. This is this Libra male. So this is what he's doing in essence with this relationship. He realized here that we got to unbox this, and I got to go step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And that's what he's going to do on his own. And then when he figures out the end game here, what he's going to do, am I going to say yay or nay? Then he's going to go to his partner and say, this is what I feel like doing. What are you going to do? And what are we going to get done? And then there goes the winter, right? I feel like over the winter, he's really may even not come out to the partner yet. I feel like over the winter season, that's going to be when he truly is kind of he's sitting back and a lot of this thinking, you know, it's all rolling around in here. And I feel like hopefully in the spring, or, you know, that he decides to come outward. Because this man is very methodical and he has to have things organized in his mind before he can go outward. And that's very high priority. And I feel like that's, you know, until he feels confidently that these obstacles are going to be removed, he's not going to go outward. So, and I feel like within the relationship, things are kind of awry anyway, to the degree where we're not talking much. Kind of sitting in the same room and not saying much anyway. So it's just kind of float over the partner. So that's too bad. But you know what? There is some sunshine energy here that's trying to peek through. So we should have hope for the future in whatever way we feel we need to go. So the decision that you do make, that you end up making, should make you feel better about things. Because we don't want to compromise our happiness for someone else's. And you know, if I'm feeding this energy the way it's feeding me, this person is not happy either. So this is known. We both know this, but we really have to look at the facts. So I think the problem with this man is he is compromised too much to a degree that he's neither one is happy. So hopefully, you know, that hopefully this helps you with something. Hope you it uncovers something, gives you a bird's eye view, or gives you a kickstart to move forward in whatever way you need to do, because it's, like I said, it's very heavy energy, but there's some truths here that need to be looked at, and there's some hope for the future. So that's what you can hinge on, I guess. So for the Libra male in a coupled relationship, it's going to be a harsh winter, but you're going to figure things out and you're going to move forward. And that's the name of the game. We're developing, and we're going to get into development, and we're going to work together to find the best way to do that. So over the Christmas season, have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Take care, have fun, and be kind.